what exactly a financial controller does. But now, with respect to financial controller, do you see only chartered accountants entering into this space, or say ACCA is also getting into ICWA? So people, what kind of certification people do to enter into financial controller role?
See, any MNC would always prefer to hire a chartered accountant, because
Mhm.
CA is a tough course compared to whatever name you can say, be it CS,
Right.
ICWA, or ACCA.
So if I understood correctly, so there is a financial controller and then there is an FP&A. So these two are two
Yeah,
different teams. So
these two
control.
are two different train. Yeah.
Okay. The purpose of asking that last question is that suppose if you have done some papers of ACCA
Okay.
and you do not have a CA background, but do they still get opportunity into financial
Yeah,
controller role?
absolutely, absolutely. You do get an opportunity from ACCA as well.
And with respect to the core skill set, if somebody wants to become a financial controller or into the finance side, what are the core skill set that they need? Hello, guys. Thank you very much for joining in. Hi, this is Ganesh Nayak. I help finance professionals and students to excel in their career. And as a part of that initiative, we have started out with podcast series with people who are already working in industry. And the purpose of this podcast is that a lot of young people who want to get into finance, a lot of college students who are aspiring to enter into finance, they will get understanding about different roles, different career perspectives or in finance. So through that purpose, we have with us Sachin. So, and he's going to be talking about his journey in finance and also about the role that he's doing and what are the skill sets and the certification requirement that are there. So, Sachin, thank you very much for taking out time. And if for the audience, if you can just give a brief about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, Ganesh, for inviting me. It's my first podcast, so please spare me if there is any, I mean, I'm not so good in recording the stuff, but I'll definitely try my best. And as a part of introduction, myself, Sachin Mundra, I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I'm having around 8+ years of post qualification experience. I did my graduation in bachelor's in financial markets from KC College. So I'm born and brought up in Mumbai itself. I did my
Okay.
schooling in here itself. So I'm a proper Mumbaiker. So as a journey, so I have been into various roles post my qualification as a chartered accountant. So I'll just give you a brief background about what all companies I have worked for and what are the roles that I have done, just
Mm-hmm.
to give a little background. So I started up working with Morgan Stanley as a product controller. I was working into the financial as a financial analyst and as a financial analyst, and I was looking after the P&L reconciliation and it was more of like handling the financial statement or P&Ls of the traders which were based out of the Hong Kong. So that
Okay.
was my first job after just clearing CA. So I was more keen on, joining some MNC, and I was not so much equipped with having a lot of grooming around, or I can say guidance from people around. So I just took up
Mhm.
the job and I started working over there. So after around, I think it's 6 months or 8 months, I realized that, I mean, this is not the job that I am looking for because that is more of monotonous. So after that,
Okay.
I've joined KPMG as a statutory auditor. So in KPMG, I was majorly again into the financial service sector, wherein I was looking after the end-to-end audit for banks, NBFC, mutual funds,
Mhm.
AIF. So everything which comes under the FS sector.
You're right.
I've done quite a few big clients like Deutsche Bank or something like that. Deutsche Bank, then Fullerton Group. So that is about. And post that, I mean, I worked for almost 3 years over there. And after
Mhm.
that, I've joined Credit Suisse Group, wherein I was into the credit. In Credit Suisse Group, I was looking after the finance and accounts, end-to-end finance and accounts team for Credit Suisse Bank, wherein I was
Okay.
looking after so basically, I was working as a financial controller for the Credit Suisse Bank, banking branch of the Credit Suisse Group in India.
Mhm.
So that's the brief background and the journey of 8 years. And after working for almost 4.5 to 5 years, so now I've moved down to I've got into a new role, not new role, new company I would say.
Okay.
So I moved down to Alliance Bernstein. So it's a US based asset management, investment management company, a broking
Mhm.
entity, research analyst company. So in India, it's basically they have broking license of equity business, and also they are into the research business. So it's a core MNC having investment management firm, broking entities, and research business across
Okay.
the globe.
Okay.
So over here my role is, again, I'm working as a financial controller for the
Mhm.
entity in India. So I'm
Okay.
I'm heading the entire department, and of course I'm reporting to someone who is not in India, who is based out of Australia. So
Okay.
that's a brief background about me.
Okay.
And so yeah, so that's all about me. And now we can have a lot of Q&A with you. So probably I can share some insights about how was my experience and journey. So yeah.
Sure, sure. So the questions that I will generally ask pertaining primarily for people who are new to this industry. So, what exactly a product controller does do in the bank or a financial institution?
Yeah, so I'll just give you, like, once you become a chartered accountant, you have quite a few opportunity. You can go into internal audit. So come back to your question, but I'll just give a brief background. So you can you can join industry, or you can go into Big Four.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, I prefer to, if I have to advise a fresher chartered accountant, so I would always advise, you should start your career with working with the Big Four, because working in Big Four, it grooms you a lot. I mean, it teaches you a lot. It helps. It makes you slog a lot, and you
Okay.
become a little, more matured person in terms of learnings, in terms of becoming tough. So that's the thing. And after that, once you are set, and if you want to continue in Big Four, you can continue. But of course, there's a lot of work pressure challenges would be there, work life
Mm-hmm.
balances, and post that you can definitely move down. So coming back to your question, as a product controller, so every MNC in India, so basically banks or NBFC, generally banks, so they have a lot of products which are not traded in India. So they
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of traders who are based out of India, basically traders who are based out of Hong Kong, Japan, EMEA region, Europe region, then
Mm-hmm.
other countries. So what
Right.
happens is, as a product controller, the main role is to report the PNL that has been generated by a trader. For example, if he has done hundreds of trades, I mean, somebody has to be there, to reconcile the trade as to what he has booked and what has been booked in the system. So as a
Right.
product controller, you need to reconcile the PNL numbers with what actual it is and what was the expectation, and you have to report the PNL on a daily basis into the system. So
Mm.
all MNC have their own platforms and system where PNL numbers are reported,
Mm.
and you will have to provide variance commentary analysis to the reporter, to the trader, so that he is
Mm.
aware as to, let's say if he's expecting for a day the PNL of 100k USD, but after your reconciliation you could report only 95 or 90k USD. So what was the variance of 5 or 10k USD? You have to provide commentary analysis to that person. So
Okay.
so as a product controller, basically, if so you have to report PNL on product wise, region wise. So that's the role of a product controller. But again,
Mm.
I mean, I personally felt that this role is quite, it's monotonous, and it just, I mean, you learn a lot, you study a lot in chartered accountancy course, and uh, somehow I was not very happy with my role,
Yes.
and I found that role was too monotonous. But then, yeah, people do make career in that role as well. It's not that.
Right.
But generally,
Right.
what I could sense out is that, these roles are more specifically to people who are, MBA from, a little lesser known colleges. Of course, I mean, not IIMs. IIMs are way more ahead.
Right.
Just normal colleges from where you have done the MBA. So I think they are the person, they are the best to reconcile the numbers and provide. As a chartered accountant, you can do way
Much
better
better,
roles,
basically.
a
Okay.
much better
Okay.
role. So
So,
there's never an end. I mean, you can get role every 5 years, 4 years. Depends on your capability where you can reach out. I mean, since you
okay.
are a chartered, you know almost everything. Not I would. say in that way. But yeah,
So basically, you get flexibility to move to different roles because you've seen the variety of aspect of finance when you are preparing for the CA exam and the
correct,
article.
because you have studied so much, you are aware about the taxation, you are aware about the finance, you are aware about the accounting, costing,
Mhm.
laws, Companies Act. It's just that, you have to put a little edge over your communication, conversation skill, presentation skills. I mean,
Hmm.
that's what an MBA person gets an edge over a chartered
Yes,
accountant. That's the
yes.
reality, and I do accept. I mean, if you do an MBA from IIMs, it's nothing like that. I mean, can't be
Right,
compared with a chartered or anyone. So
right.
that's the
But
thing. Yeah.
now, Sachin, for the benefit of the audience, what exactly a financial controller does?
Okay. Now I'll tell you. So how it happens, like. So any financial controller who is working as a in an MNC, they are called as a financial controller or a legal entity financial controller. So in the
Mhm.
private company, they are the part of the finance and accounts team. Now there are two things here. All the names are, I mean, names are different, but the responsibility remains to be same. Okay,
Hmm.
so there are two teams over here. Actually, three teams, I would say. One team is purely who looks after the books and records and the accounting aspect. The second team who do reporting aspect of the financial statement to different regulators, be it RBI, be it US Fed or any other
Hmm.
country regulator. And the third is the FP&A, basically financial planning analysis. So all the three comes under the finance domain itself for a chartered accountant. Now it's up to you where you do land up a job. Now, as a financial controller, what I was looking after the books and records, basically finance and accounts. Now, as a financial controller, I have to ensure so every month, you have to, so as a financial controller, you need to control the entire financial statement. Basically, the roles and responsibility is to prepare the financial statement for the company, to get it
Okay.
audited with the statutory auditor, to do these, to get the tax audit complete with the tax auditors. Then on a monthly basis, you will have to, since we work in MNC or be in India as well. I mean, month end is quite, it's there in almost every companies. So you have to ensure the smooth closure of the month end. So now in month
Okay.
end, there are a lot of entries. Basically, it comprises of, preparation of a lot of entries and
Mhm.
reconciliation. And once the entries are prepared, you have to close the books. I mean, the calculation basically month end closure, quarter end closure, then year end closure, then basically GST reporting, which is on a monthly basis, GSTR1, GSTR3B, then calculation of advance tax on quarterly basis. As I said, I mean, you have to prepare the financial statement, get it audited with the statutory auditors, and
Right.
get uh, done the tax auditor as well. So basically, as a financial controller, you're the point of contact for anything which comes under the accounting and finance thing. I mean,
So if I understood correctly, so there is a financial controller and then there is an FP&A. So these two are two
yeah,
different teams. So
this these
control
are two different teams. Yeah,
okay. So controller is somebody who will basically look after the entire accounting side also, the
correct,
books and all everything. The
correct,
FP&A
correct.
guy will basically do analysis.
Okay, now so I'll come to on the FP&A. So that
Acha.
was the role of the financial controller, finance and accounts team, basically accounts controller, you can say. Now, as an FP&A, basically, what is the role here? The FP&A controller is basically will prepare the financial statement on forecasted basis.
Hmm.
Basically, on forecasted basis, he will prepare the financial statement by taking inputs from different CXO as to the sales guy. What are the let's say if you're working in a broking entity, what are the brokerage income you are expecting for the next quarter or next 6 months. So on the basis of the inputs that has been received from different department, basically he will prepare the entire financial statement, basically the PNL. And that forecasted PNL is generally presented to the CFO and the head of the department CEO. They want to
Hmm.
understand where do they stand in the month of, let's say, June 2024, where do they
Right.
stand for the next 6 months down the line. And once the actual numbers, the once the role of the accounting team gets completed on the month end, then the FP&A guy can get the actual numbers as to what was the forecasted versus actual.
Right.
So that is the keen role and the cream role as well, I can say, because they have to prepare the forecast, and also they have to prepare the actuals and compare forecast versus actual and
Right.
provide the commentary to the management. Because as a CEO, I mean, you will be more concerned about where do we stand, after 6 months down the line. What are the brokerage and what is the brokerage income or fee income we are expecting in this financial year for 24-25, and
Hmm.
what actually we booked, how much, what was the runway. So that's all question. I mean, as a CEO or CFO, we want to understand. Of course, the CFO
Okay.
wants to more
Okay.
understand from the accounting per
Sales
se,
and all.
because ultimately he will have to understand what are the P&L numbers, where does the PAT stands for, how much is the advance tax has to be calculated basis that on quarterly basis he will have to pay. So that's the thing. I mean, that's a good
Okay.
role, FP&A as well.
But now, with respect to financial controller, do you see only chartered accountants entering into this space, or say ACCA is also getting into ICWA? So, people, what kind of certification people do to enter into financial controller role?
See, generally, any MNC would always prefer to hire a chartered accountant, because
Hmm.
CA is a tough course compared to whatever name you can say, be it CS,
Right.
ICWA, or ACCA. So, I mean, there is no entry barrier as to if you are ICWA, he is also a qualified cost accountant, but he would
Hmm.
be more keen to understand from the cost accounting point of view, than
Okay.
overall becoming a CFO of the company. Okay, so if you are good enough, you become CA. Then what are the certification that can help you, in your
Okay.
career growth? You can do IFRS diploma degree, you can do
Hmm.
ACCA, you can do USCPA. There are so many. I mean, but I think Indian CA degree is more than enough to excel
Right.
in your career. See, degree
But
is just I mean, trust me, degree is only certification, or you can say it's a certification where your doors get open to enter into the corporate. Then it's
right.
all about your skills, your hard work, how you develop in your career. No certification. I mean, just imagine somebody is having 5 degree, I'm having only 1 degree, but ultimately what the CEO or CFO would be looking, who is going to do the job for me? Is it a 1 degree or 4 degree? It doesn't really matter
I got it.
ultimately.
Got it. So
Yeah,
basically, any in any cases also, I mean, it's not only about CA, but a degree basically helps you to enter. Then
enter.
what
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
do, it depends upon your skill set, your people management skill, or everything matters. But now
Absolutely, absolutely.
the purpose of asking that last question is that suppose if you have done some papers of ACCA
Okay.
and you do not have a CA background, but do they still get opportunity into financial
Yeah,
controller role?
absolutely, absolutely. You do get an opportunity from ACCA as well, because it's more about the accounting. So you will get an initial entry level thing, and once you are experienced person, then sky is the limit as well.
Okay.
That's
And in your journey also, you have started out as a financial analyst and now working as an AVP. So, what is the difference that you see in terms of the way you were thinking when you started your career, and now what is your thought process, change in thought process when you're leading in the financial control role at an AVP level?
So see, when I started my career, I was fresher CA, you see. So the roles and responsibility to a fresher CA is limited. I mean, of course, you get paid accordingly. So once you gain experience, you become more responsible. And as and when you grow, or let's say you get a designation or you grow in your career, you become a AVP, then you will become VP. The responsibility increases with more of accountability of the job that you, because it's your baby now. I mean, you are heading a finance department, so
Right.
you are responsible for everything. If everything goes smooth, you're good enough. If anything goes wrong, I mean, the management will hold your neck. I mean, nobody is going to say. I mean, I cannot say that someone who is reporting to me, he didn't the job, he didn't perform the control the way he should. I mean, there was error. I mean, that's the reason I have been hired. There has to be make a checker control, right? So
Mhm.
the accountability and responsibility increases with the designation or the pay that you get. As simple as that. Just to
Okay, okay. And with respect to the core skill set, if somebody wants to become a financial controller or into the finance side, what are the core skill set that they need?
See, what I feel is accounting is the most important thing. I mean, you need
Mhm.
to have accounting concept very clearly, be updated with the Ind AS, be updated with the IFRS, stay updated with, both taxation concepts, be it indirect tax, GST,
Hmm.
be it direct tax. Of course, there are consultants who are there to help you out, but it's not that you don't know. I mean, you have to stay updated with everything. And since if you are planning to build your career as a financial controller, or legal entity financial controller, finance and accounts, or FP&A, your accounting has to be really really good. I mean, in even if you're sleeping, if somebody asks you what is this entry needs to be posted, or what would be the impact of this entry on your financial statement, it has to be like crystal clear. Okay, if you're posting this entry, this is what is going to impact, so we have to
Okay.
think like that. So that's the thing.
Okay. And what is the role of technology that you see in this current role? Whether technology has been heavily into the role right now, or is it slowly and steadily coming in? On for new people, what technology they should learn?
Okay, from technology point of view, what I understand is that you should for this is for the I mean the people the audience, I would say you should
Mhm.
learn Python as a tool
Okay.
for data analysis, data crunching. Uh, Python is used for a lot of things. I mean, if
Right.
you are good in Python, Tableau, this all things will give an upper edge on your resume, that these things. I mean, of course,
Okay.
you can learn on ground, but if you're pre-learned and you have done some kind of a course in Python, it will really help you. I mean, I never did any course in Python, but then I could sense out that this is the requirement in the market. I mean, whenever I have given an interview, they have asked me out, do you know Python? The answer was no. But then this is one thing which I would suggest that you should learn. Yep.
Perfect. So basically, the technical skill set that you said, the accounting standards, GST, and all taxation, you should be aware. Plus, additional, you can get into either a
E-
Power BI or Tableau, or for example, Python.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this will help you, and having an see, technology and accounting always goes hand in hand. I mean, I don't see there would be a time where AI will replace a lot of auditors or a lot of
Mhm.
accountant as well. So that will take a lot of time. But it's not that AI is going to make people jobless, chartered accountants, anyone. That's not never going to happen. But a lot of efficiency can be developed during performing audit or doing any financial reporting using the AI technology. I mean, that's the reason. And if you are well equipped with the AI technology and Python and Tablet, all this AI tools, so that will always have an upper edge over any other candidate. And of course, it
Right.
will help you as well. What innovative way you can automate the files with respect to automation is something which every all bosses would always appreciate in your appraisal, that you have done some good job. I mean, managing BAU is not very big thing. I mean, it will anyway get managed. You're experienced person, but if you automate something in your current role wherever you work for, so that is something, because you have developed efficiency by showcasing that.
That's
Okay,
a
by
value add.
that's a value added. I mean, just imagine you
Yes.
are saving some number of hours for the company, for yourself, and you're building up things for the company, and the people who will come after you will get an advantage of that. So that's a big value add.
Okay, perfect. So, quick query, whether it's a quick question like when you did auditing, what is it one thing that you really liked about it, and what is the one thing that you didn't like about it?
Okay, what did I didn't like? I'll tell you that first. So see,
Okay.
audit. I mean, it requires a lot of slogging. Okay,
Okay.
and what I didn't like is basically there's a lot of documentation which revolve around doing the auditing, which sometimes I felt, and I mean this document is not even required, because if I'm documenting certain thing, I mean I won't even able to justify as to why did I even document it. Okay,
Okay.
that is one thing that I didn't like, a lot of documentation. What I like about audit is that you get to understand the grassroots of the financial statement. What are the controls that have been set up by the management? what are the deficiency you can identify to the management
Hmm.
through your auditing skills, and you become very skeptical about, once you're an auditor, you're always an auditor, I can say. This is out of my experience, because
Right.
once you become skeptical when you do audit, you need to have that professional skepticism in you, otherwise you cannot be a good auditor. So when you have that quality in you, you become a very good auditor, and that will help you in the long run as well. So
Right.
you see things from a very minute angle, from different angles, from different perspective, be it. So that is one thing which has, developed me because of going into the audit field.
Hmm.
That's the one thing which I always say, working in Big Four will definitely, as I said in the start of the interview, as not interview, in the start of the discussion, that working in Big Four will groom you a lot. So that is thing, that's the one thing. Yeah.
And if I ask you the same question for a financial controller role, one good thing and one thing that you don't like.
One thing, there are many things, I mean, which I like about being a financial controller. It's that you prepare the financial statement, you get to know how the company's financial statement are prepared. As an auditor, you audit the things. You are never
Hmm.
at the maker level. Now, here you have to work from the grassroots level, coordinate with different people, understand the accounting system, and prepare the financial statement on a monthly or whatever basis it is. So it helps you to stay updated, and it helps
Right.
you, and of course, there's a better work-life balance compared to when you're in audit field,
Hmm.
and that is one thing. So what I didn't like, I think, not really. I mean, it's a good field to grow up in your career.
Hmm.
So there is nothing that I didn't like, actually, to be very honest.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And finally, the last thing that I want to understand, one advice to young professionals who are coming, be it right now they're in college or doing MBA or doing CA. What is that one advice that you will give to them in terms of career?
So one advice that I would give, if you are doing CA, post your CA, I mean, don't just relax down. You should always try, you should always look for doing an MBA. Try to crack an IIMs. I mean, cracking IIMs, getting into IIMs is a big thing. So
Hmm.
this will help you to build your career a little faster as compared to only CA. If you're CA plus an MBA from IIMs, let's say A, B, or C, it will
Hmm.
help you to land a job in, equity research, venture capital, investment banking, and fancy roles of finance. So that is
Hmm.
one thing. That is one advice I would say. And I mean, you if you have capacity, you should study. I mean, you should not. But it's personal choices, of course. So that's completely depends on individual to it, because I did only chartered accountancy. I never did MBA, or I didn't even try for that. But all I can say, if you can, it's really good. You should. That's the
So
thing.
basically, we're talking about upskilling. Keep upskilling. Don't just
Keep
wait
upskilling. Yep.
with your one
And
degree or certification.
yeah, so what I would advise to people, who are in colleges, I mean, utilize your time to the fullest. I mean, trust me. I mean, this time, once it is gone, it is gone. Your initial 3 years of your career after 12th standard is really, really important. Build your career, be it
Hmm.
in CA, MBA, or CFA. I mean, I'm assuming that you guys are coming from the commerce background. I don't know much about science, but utilize your time very efficiently, so that you don't regret for anything after 3 years after graduation. And
Right.
success and failure are the part of life. Unless you fail, you will not understand the taste of the success. If you're
Hmm.
passing everything in first semester, it's really good. That's not an issue. And if you're failing in, let's say, in IPCC or final or any CAT exam, that's fine. I mean, you will have to push yourself a little harder and get the things done for you. So that's, and then the taste of success will help make you realize that
Right.
you have to work really hard. I mean, that's the thing.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it was a great conversation, Sachin. I mean, trying to understand what product controllers do, what financial controllers do, and what is the importance of that role, how you have been managing it, what are the key skill set. So again, this podcast will definitely help the audience, especially the new people who are not aware about these roles, Okay, is that it is there in the industry, so it will help them to get the basics clear, and then they can do their research and get into those roles. So thank you very much for taking out time and talking to us, Sachin. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. It's all my pleasure. So all I can say is that, I mean, all roles are available. I mean, it totally depends on the individual person as to where does his interest lies. Maybe his interest lies in, working in Big Four into taxation
Mhm.
department, M&A, internal audit in industry, financial controller, product controller, investment banking, equity research. There are
Right.
so many. I mean, I can list down a page. I mean, so it totally depends where you get the opportunity. First, where does your interest lies after doing articleship, internship? You get to understand. And second, I mean, where does the opportunity? There has to be an opportunity. I mean, so let's say if you are interested going into equity research, but
Hmm.
there has to be an opportunity. It's a cutthroat competition. I mean, you have to be really best. You have to be a rank holder, or you have to be a first attempt, or plus CA plus MBA. Only then you can get into. This is my experience. Out of my experience, I'm saying.
Got
But
it.
what I would advise is that, uh, I mean, don't get disappointed with the role that you're getting. In the start of the career, you can take up things, and once you are settled for, let's say, 6 months, 1 year, or 1.5 year, then you can move for a better role. Since the markets are not that good enough, I mean, for job opportunity to move from one role to another.
Mhm.
So don't be so much stick to one particular thing. I want only that, or I want only this. Just
Hmm.
go with the flow, because ultimately
Okay.
you have to work in the end. So
Right.
that's all about.
Wonderful, wonderful, Sachin. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely, Ganesh. Thanks a lot for inviting me again, and I'm really grateful. I hope uh, who are hearing me out, they will benefit out of my experience and the knowledge. And once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you.